Alrighty folks, we recently did a video where I had our Discord people submit their bikes and we had some fun seeing what those bikes said about their riders. Today I wanted to do something similar but with a twist. Instead of them giving us their bike and working backwards, I wanted to see if I could guess what bike they ride based on their choice of car. As much as we don't like to admit it, there's a ton of overlap between car people and motorcycle people. Generally, motorcyclists are wannabe car people who looked at the state of the economy in their wallets and noped out, thinking that bikes are a cheaper way to scratch that performance itch. But as we saw yesterday, that's not how it works. So if you're in that camp, you should go back and watch the video on the 10 stupid things motorcyclists say so you don't get caught saying something silly. Your papa's looking out for you. But in any case, today I'm going to go through a whole bunch of cars that were submitted by our Discord members and take a guess at what bike they ride. Oh, and before I forget, today is the last day to use the code UJM on shop.yamini.co for 3x entries to win our new Z900RS giveaway bike. You're not going to want to miss out on this bike, or at least that's what all the Cowie simps keep telling me. Is it the bestest thing ever? I don't know. If you watched my first ride, go watch that video, then click the link down below and use the code UJM for 3x entries on shop.yaminoob.co. While you're down there though, you really ought to hit up Manscaped. Boom! Effortless ball shaver Segway, unlike trying to shave your balls on a Segway. That seems ill-advised. You know, we talk a lot about ball shavers when it comes to Manscaped, but I like to focus today on your nose pubes. Yeah, you've probably never thought about it until this very second, which means that your nose hair is probably hanging out of your nostrils like a bell clapper, where the hair is the long rod and the nasty booger is the weight. You need to take care of that, my guy. No one wants to be talking to someone with a bunch of bats up in the cave. That's just nasty. Thankfully, Manscaped has you covered with their Weed Whacker nose hair trimmer. Just shove it up your nose like a 5-year-old with a brand new Lego set and frickin' let it rip, dude. In seconds, you'll be presentable again, and better still, you can get the Weed Whacker lawnmower, shears, ball soaps, cologne, and more for 20% off when you click the link in the description down below. Big shout out to Manscaped for sponsoring this video and all the other shenanigans we do around here. Go show them some love. Alrighty, with that out of the way, let's start off strong with the Ram 1500. Chances are, if you're driving around a Ram 1500, you bought it after you purchased a Harley-Davidson Iron 883 and got mercilessly clowned on by the rest of the Harley crowd for owning the smallest and wimpiest Harley money can buy. You went home and thought to yourself, I'll show them. I'll show them all. And so you bought a massive truck that dwarfs pretty much everything on the road to prove once and for all that you're a big man. You also won't stop talking about the Hammer 1275, kid. It's a good thing you got that Ram though, so you can load the bike and take him back to the dealership. Your bike's leaking oil again. Or wait, was that the truck? Oh well, take them both to the dealer. The reason I started off with the Ram 1500, guys, is because I actually own one of those. But I'm like the least Ram 1500 owner you'll ever meet. Next up is one that I don't have to guess at because the Discord boy has it in his username, but if you're driving a Mitsubishi Eclipse, you're probably also riding around on a Ninja 650. Why? Because you wanted a sports car with none of the trappings of a sports car. You know, things like personality, speed, looks, speed, and so you get the most affordable sports car looking vehicle you can get for like $8 grand. After a while, you wanted to get on two wheels and thought the same thing went through your head. How could you get a sport bike with any of the things that make sport bikes fun? A Ninja 650. At least the new ones have the modern Ninja style, so you can hide your shame a little bit longer, I suppose. The Kia Soul, ironically named for its complete lack of a soul. What motorcycle could match such a characterless boxcar which touts versatility, cargo space, wonderful fuel economy, and a wide array of safety features? The Versa 650. You knew this was going to make an appearance on here. We had some people on the Discord mention their minivans, and the copy pasta of the dude defending the Versa's honor came to mind. But in honesty, the real four-wheeled Versus is the Kia Soul. Both are boring, perfectly functional vehicles that will transport you through time and space and do nothing else. Don't even try to have fun, that voids the warranty. Then we had someone submit a BMW X2 for consideration. Obviously my brain went straight to a BMW motorcycle because much like owning an iPhone, once you're in the BMW ecosystem, the only escape is death. Except you don't see it that way. As soon as you see it as the wise choice for only the most cultured riders out there, the question is, which BMW? I thought long and hard about this and came up with the S1000 XR. Yeah, you bought a BMW crossover twice. Good job. Way to think differently. But hey, at least your M Sport gear goes with both the car and the bike. Do you have a BMW garage mat? Or what about an M Sport shower curtain? I know those tidy whities you're rocking right now came bundled in with your fan package, right? The Mazda Miata. If you drive this car, there's a 100% chance you ride an SV650. You know it. I know it, just admit it, they're the same thing. Car people all consider the Miata to be the perfect starter sports car. You can pick one up for a lot of money, build it however you'd like, take it to a track day, and it'll just work. That sounds like the SV650 if I've ever heard it. Now how about something a little odd? The 1987 Pontiac Fiero GT, a car from a defunct manufacturer whose heyday is well and truly past. Now while Kawasaki is not dead anymore, their glory days pretty much are. They still make some weird and wacky bikes, but the era of the GP Z900 and ZX7 are in the rear view. If you're rolling around in an old Pontiac like that, you're probably on a classic Kawasaki sport bike, and your catchphrase is, "They don't build them like they used to." And your weekends are spent tuning carburetors. Every once in a blue moon, you can get out and experience what the good old days were like, but then it's straight back to the garage for another bout of maintenance. Sticking with the Pontiac for a minute, there's the Grand Am GT from the mid-2000s. This is the epitome of a Craigslist crap car, so you're probably parking it next to a Craigslist crap bike of equally fine vintage. The frame says Honda, but the fairings say Yamaha. The grips are from Amazon, and your front tire is a proper super sport tire, and the rear is some ancient sport touring tire. Why you have such a predilection for motoring monstrosities, we will never know. But somehow every time you turn the key on that crap bike, it turns over, but you might need to bust out the mallet and get it to go into gear. Let's have a palate cleanser with the Honda Civic. There's a whole bunch of iterations of this car, so it's hard to keep them straight, but they're all pretty much the same. As a starter car, they're the only bike that can match its lineage is the Ninja 400. I mean, think about it. They've both been on the road roughly the same length of time. They've gone through a bunch of updates recently, and they're both perfect toilets. They're not special, but they're perfectly capable of doing everything you need them to do. The Toyota 4Runner. This is the car for someone who might actually try to go overlanding at some point, but doesn't want to sacrifice creature comforts, just like a Tenere 700. They're on the cheaper side of the off-roading and adventure space with enough tech to keep you happy, comfortable enough for a long ride, and when you do decide to take it off-road, you're probably going to do just fine. Unlike the Jeep Renegade, which looks like it could do some off-roading, but it's really just meant to go to a coffee shop and back, just like a flagship ADV bike. The interior is meant for you to sit in comfort, the ride is smooth, and there's controls just for your butt. If you take it off-road, you're going to regret your life choices almost immediately, just like on a flagship ADV bike. Get yourself back to Starbucks before you hurt yourself, you poser. The Dodge Challenger RT. American, overpriced, and underpowered. What does that sound like to you? Yep, just like a Harley-Davidson Fat Bod. They even have the same oval-shaped front end so your cringy family photo post on Instagram can match. Oh, but I know you haven't driven your Dodge Challenger. Yours has an 8.7-liter Hemi Mega Chad Super Cam Magna Flow intake. Your Challenger's faster than all the other Challengers. Your Challenger's gonna change my mind. Sure it is, buddy. Just like your Fat Bob will. This one I had to think about. It's a V6 Mustang, a car where you had to settle for something cheaper without all the bells and whistles, without the character of a full-blown one, something that looks as flashy on the outside, but in the inside it's really just a budget version of the real thing, kind of like a rental car. Then I realized it's the R7. Yeah, I know you wanted an R6, but Yamaha stopped making them right before you got your license. You probably already had the tattoo, and now you figure out how some way to turn that 6 into a 7. They look so similar though, I'm sure you'll fool a few people, at least until you turn it on and everyone hears the sad state of your engine. But hey, at least the MT-07 engine is fun, which is a nice change of pace from that old V6, am I right? The 1994 Nissan Skyline. First of all, let me say you, sir, have excellent taste in automobiles. That is a driver's car. Or did you just watch The Fast and the Furious and decide to start living your life at a quarter mile at a time? I'm gonna assume it's the first. If that's the case, you know there's something about sports cars that's missing from today's crop. There's a disconnect between driver and car thanks to all the tech, and you treat your bikes the same way. That's why you're rolling around on a classic Ducati, something like a 1098 or 916, back when Ducati made motorcycles for passionate weirdos who wanted to try and keep up with the Japanese inline 4 with a B-twin. You roll up to bike night and everyone is instantly jealous, and then you realize that it worked. Money actually could purchase a personality. Hey, got him. The Toyota Prius. You are a penny-pinching CPA. You need to extract every ounce of economy out of your vehicle, meaning you don't want anything that can disrupt your 50 to 60 MPGs. Nothing like going fast, nothing like looking like giant nerd rolling around in a pocket protector. That's why you purchased a Rebel 250. Yes, they have made updated Rebels. Yes, they are objectively better motorcycles that can do things like ride on the highway, but you don't care. There was only one motorcycle in the entire history of motorcycles to have the bulk of its Wikipedia page devoted to the fuel economy, and that was the Rebel. Though you're thinking about switching to the Navi because it can fit in the hatchback, your sadness knows no bounds, but you save 3 cents a mile. The Mazda CX-5, it's a car. That's all it is. It has 4 wheels, an engine, a steering wheel, and some storage space. You use this car to do car things. You go to the store, you go to the dentist, you go to the work. Relentlessly, the CX-5 ticks every banal box in life's unceasing list of errands and menial tasks. not unlike your NC750, the only bike that will, without emotion, convey you to and from all of your daily tribulations. But hey, there's a sandwich in the frunk so you can intake the prerequisite number of calories for this day period before returning to an empty room and plugging your finger into a wall socket to recharge for another day. Lastly, the sad no car bro. If you have no car, you probably also have no motorcycle. At least that was the case until you looked up a video on two-stroke motors for your bicycle. You decided to forego human food to save some coins, eating nothing but instant ramen while you assembled your liquor cycle, and suddenly a whole new world opened up to you. You were able to twist the throttle and you were hooked. You needed to go faster, but you're still super broke. You got a job working as a delivery driver for Domino's or Jimmy John's or Steve's Discount Dispensary or whatever. You squirreled away every tip you could, living off of leftover scraps from the cold table, but you decided to treat yourself to a cup of soups instead of instant ramen. I mean, what's the point of living if you can't enjoy life's small pleasures, right? Eventually, you saved enough to purchase your first real motorcycle. It was a Ninja 250. But hey, it could go highway speeds, though deep down in your soul, you knew this wasn't right. It wasn't enough to fill the yawing chasm within you. You needed more. Then you went back to the delivery dungeon, though with an increased speed came increased tips. Your innate human acumen for pattern recognition turned a light bulb on in your head. There was a direct correlation between the speed of your bike and the increase in tips. You formulated a plan, trading in the 250 for a 400, then a 400 for a 600, then a 600 for a 1000, but it still wasn't enough. The tips were flowing in like rivers after the first spring rain. You knew what you had to do. The 1000 wasn't going to do it. There was only one bike that could. You ascended to full galaxy brain and purchased the last bike you'll ever need, the Turbo Hayabusa. It was so fast it made the Jimmy John freak. Unfortunately, when flexing on lesser evolved immortals, you caught the attention of the local fishermen. They confiscated your beloved machine, your reason for being, your very soul. Dejected, you stumble back to your dwelling, back to a cold cup of soup as you stare deep into the soggy noodles and the familiar smell wafts up from your stairs. You walk down and you see it, your 49cc two-stroke bicycle waiting for you. And it was in that moment that you realized you had the universe in your grasp and you could get there once again. Fact, rather than store it, parade officials released a gigantic Dacian balloon into the air at the conclusion of the 1929 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Just some more wiener dog facts for you guys. Goodbye. Keep watching Amy Noob!